Hi, I'm Buzz Dixon. If you're listening to this, send help!
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite G.I. Joe podcast show. Did you miss us? Wow, excitement. We're back. Episode 5, Mass Device. We got all the hits.
The final episode of the Mass Device.
The final episode of the Mass Device. So I'm sorry for not sorry, because you guys got to listen to some amazing Patreon episodes.
Hashtag
Never
sorry, not sorry.
apologize, Ray.
No, I'm not sorry, because you guys, I just wish, we didn't have this huge gap in there, but that's what happened. And we filled it with awesome stuff.
Chan was in Japan.
Yeah. Chan went
He
to
brought
Japan
us
on
back
his honeymoon.
toys. I got a Neko Atsume fan and a Kiki's Delivery Service puzzle, so I cleaned the fudge up.
I got some bento boxes from Chan, as well as some chopsticks for children, which is a delight.
Which are really for Ray, because
They're for me,
he
'cause
can't
I don't-
probably-
I don't
I need
want
to
to
learn.
see him try and muck around with normal chopsticks ever again.
Oh, it's frankly embarrassing.
Ugh, we've gone to sushi places before, and it's just it's an atrocity.
Oh, that's right.
Guys,
we
how
have.
come we've never gotten ramen, like gone out to get ramen together?
We need to rectify that.
I
sometime
know.
We
soon.
should do that.
I have a lot to unpack in this episode.
Yeah, there's a
so
lot going on here. This is mass. It's
I have
called
some huge problems with
A
certain
Snake
things.
in the Serpent's Heart. I
There's
had
a
some
snake
issues.
in my boot.
We're coming up to it because this is the last of the first miniseries. We've got one more miniseries, so 5 more episodes
Do we?
to knock out,
Oh.
and then
We have
then
the Weather
we're
Dominator series.
weapons free. We're gonna
And then we're going to figure out what's going on next.
Yeah.
We got Series
Yeah.
2 G.I. Joe we can do. We can start doing episodes of other stuff.
I
as
still
we
want to do movie G.I. Joe. I know Steve
We
Moulton wants to
definitely-
come on when we do the movie. Mm-hmm. I said it like Ray says at that time. Steve Moulton.
Steve Moulton. Yeah.
It's getting farther and further away from his actual name.
Yeah. Like
Swart Morgrob.
So you have to legally change it now, Steve, unfortunately. And you know what the word part is? He will legally change his name to that, and then we'll just start calling him Steve Moulton.
He'll at least
That's
make
right.
a meme of Chan shouting that horrible name.
I don't even know what that was. Are you okay, Chan? Do you need assistance?
I've brought things back from overseas.
Well,
like diseases.
I was about to say, should I be nervous? Is this an outbreak
Yeah.
situation?
You tell
Yeah.
me you've been locked up in this room with me for the past 3
no.
hours.
God.
For this past 3 hours, we've recorded like 30 actual usable minutes of podcast.
Guys, we hadn't seen each other in a long time.
There's a lot of
Who would have
catching up
known? We're real life friends.
What? Gina, don't let the people know. Put that curtain back. Put that curtain back. Oh, my goodness. Well, we opened this episode up with a crashing ship, because when last we left,
Yes.
Scarlet and Destro, Scarlet shot the controls with her crossbow with her feet.
Yes,
Bang.
they are working together.
No, that's the correct name. That's the correct sound. Bang.
I thought that was you.
That's that
talking
and a
about
boner
Scarlet.
noise.
That's what I was
It's
thinking.
interchangeable for a boner noise.
Oh, hold on a second. No, I have the actual sound right here.
Oh, yeah.
That's the arrow
it's a
sound,
spring.
yeah.
That's such a terrible. You should never make a weapon make that sound.
What if it's like a rubber band slinger, though?
I mean, she's G.I. Joe. It's a top secret.
They got
force
they got their funding cut, Chan. They can't afford real noises now. President Serpentor.
No, that's
Cut
the
their
sound.
funding.
That's right. President Serpentor is ended G.I. Joe, unfortunately.
Yeah, I
Press
heard.
Serpentor on
There's
Twitter.
a lot. I heard there's a lot more coming out about him and his ties to the Crimson Guard.
Him and Extensive Enterprises are just friends.
Oh, before we even go any further, I'm
Yes.
also going to jump ahead again. The other really, really weird sound effect.
I know what you're going to play. So please
do you?
Yes.
Somebody whispers in, let's see.
Maybe it's not the one I'm thinking of.
All right.
However, all has not been going well since your departure.
This is Baroness talking to Destro.
Okay.
She's about to speak into his ear.
Oh, yes.
There was the ill-advised attempt to destroy New York City.
What?
Oh yeah.
Is she
I
licking
remember
his
that.
ear?
I remember.
It's her talking, whispering in his ear. I don't know what happened. If somebody read a script wrong, and it was, It was
Wait, are we sure
make a
she's
slurp,
not
slurp
sticking
noise.
her tongue in his
That's
ear?
clearly what she's doing in
I
that
know.
moment.
Like, she's like, welcome back. I have a secret to tell you.
Lick.
Here's the thing: if it's a metal ear, it would not have made that noise.
Hey, you don't know.
I mean, yeah, Chan. How many
What?
times you worn the metal mask and had somebody lick
tried
your
to
ear?
have someone tongue
The
your
answer
ear.
is 4.
You know what? Then I stand corrected.
He has a followed by that
Yeah.
It's really disturbing.
I mean, that's Cobra
Wonderful.
Commander. He's walking in
I
on something
know.
he doesn't know what. Who knows what would have happened if this conversation had continued on?
Well, let's not get too far ahead because
All right,
an
now we can
incredible
back
thing
up.
happens with Scarlet and Destro working together to save each other.
Yep.
And I love that she kicks the crossbow over and says, use the third arrow. And do you have the sound pull of just her talking to him? Because it cracked me up, like her impatience with Destro in this.
It's a tractor rig. Hurry! Not that one, you jerk. The third one.
Not that one, you
Now,
jerk.
set it on short range or you'll blow it through the instrument panel. Gently, hammer hands, steady.
Okay,
mean
I
to
said
him.
it. I said it at the end of the last episode, and I will say it again. I want them to fall in love.
Scarlet and Destro?
Yeah, like I have sensed this throughout the whole series. Like
Interesting.
from the time that he met her in the elevator and said like, "Oh, frankly, Scarlet," whatever he said to her.
You know what? I don't frankly believe that she has the tongue skills.
Yeah.
Here's
Baroness
the
can
thing.
work that tongue, yo.
We know that he likes a chick who keeps him in line.
Oh, yes.
Sure.
And one of my major issues with this episode is what happens at the end with Duke and
We'll
the
get there.
other woman.
Yeah.
So I want to take this opportunity to say that I am officially shipping Destro and Scarlet. I am now going to look up if there is any fan
Scarstro?
art of them. Yes, Scarstro.
Desolate?
I like Scarstro. I think that's the winner right
Scarstro,
there.
and I'm gonna Google, and then if there is, I'll send it to Ray so he can post it on the website.
Okay.
If there's any fan
I'm into
art
it.
of Destro and Scarlet in love.
And if there isn't, why don't you guys out there make some so Gina can enjoy it? Like, I think that's what we're going for.
Write me some fanfic, monkeys.
I'll say it right now. Cobra Commander is so they end up saving each other, and Destro takes her in prisoner to the Cobra base, where Cobra Commander is feeling himself because he is his ensemble. He's pulled out the purple cape and the scepter with the snake on it. So Cobra Commander is feeling good right now.
He's on fire.
He's feeling it, man. And him and Destro have a little back and forth. They get kind of mad at each other, and I'm not kidding. They fight a little bit because Destro is pissed off about him shooting at New York, right?
Right.
He says this was a dumb. This will come up later in the episode, in my mind, because Destro says it was wasting of our materials.
Yep.
You had no reason to shoot New York.
You don't threaten unless you can back it up.
It didn't work, and so now people have no reason to respect us, and everything Destro is saying is 100% true.
Yep.
Remember this for later in the episode, because it will come back around again. But when they're fighting back and forth, I love that Destro says his piece, walks away, and Cobra Commander throws the scepter and drills him right in
Bonks
the
in the
back
head.
of the head.
Also,
Jesus
the
Christ.
shot of Destro in Cobra Commander's mask is dope.
It's rad.
Like, I really like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't he call him something like a sibilant, psychotic sibilant? He
Oh, yes.
alliterates a lot of words.
he gets,
You psychotic, sibilant serpent of a dolt!
Psychotic,
Oh.
sibilant serpent of a dolt.
Destro
Yeah.
is on fire this episode. Like, this is classic pinnacle Destro.
I tell you what, man, the writing in this miniseries is strong.
Excellent.
Yeah.
The characters make sense. They do things that are like
Until
real,
the
genuine
end.
motivations.
Okay, yes, until the end. It falls a little apart.
Yeah.
And
In Act
like
5.
Destro, has a way with words, and he deploys it.
He's clearly the
magnificent.
smarter one, but Cobra Commander is the better leader. And they really, it comes out. They don't have to say it, they show it to you. And that's what I really appreciated about it.
Guys, I am really disappointed. I cannot find any. I typed Destro and Scarlet shipping. I typed Destro and Scarlet in love. I put Destro and Scarlet relationship, and there is not even fan art.
Maybe you got to take the safe filter off. And
Believe me, I took that off when I was 5.
Yeah, the problem is you type in Scarlet and ship, and you get Scarlet and Vision from Avengers.
Scarlett Johansson.
Witch.
yeah, but I
Or
typed
Witch.
or Black Widow. Yeah. So
But I typed Destro and Scarlet, and pictures of them are coming up, but it's them fighting.
Maybe that's the kind of relationship they have.
I just want one where they're banging.
What I really loved about Destro in this moment is he gets hit in the back of the head with the scepter, and a normal villain character, especially of this era, would fuck up Cobra Commander. He'd beat the shit out of him because Destro is the more physically imposing dude. But Destro stops. He picks up the scepter, laughs, has a frivolity. He comes over to him and he's just like, "Of course you're right, Cobra Commander." Ha 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 ha. Crush. And he crushes the scepter head. That shit was baller.
Also, what do we think that's
God.
made of? Is it gold? Because if it's gold, okay, he crushed it. But I'm like, are his hands like super, super strong?
He's a super strong guy. Like, we've seen him, like, just pick people up by their backs and, like, throw them.
he's probably got
Okay.
a little bit of an exoskeleton and under there, powered exosuit.
Apparently, Snake Eyes and Scarlet
Yep.
is a big like on
Oh, geez.
DeviantArt. A lot of people ship them. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of artwork of them. So worst comes to worst, that's what
So
Ray will post.
Can someone Photoshop Destro in there?
There's a lot. There's a lot of them.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
I'm on board with that. I'm on board with that.
So they throw Scarlet in prison in prison cell, and she falls down like these just like disembodied steps that reminded me of if you've seen Metalocalypse, Nathan Explosion's girlfriend falls down the 9,000 flights of steps. That's the only vision I had when I was watching this.
I'm surprised this didn't $1 Million Baby her, to be
A
honest.
little bit, right?
Like she fell a long way.
G.I.Joe Witch.
G.I.Joe Witch.
Yeah. Like
She's not
I would
looking.
think she was a witch if she fell that far on her head and back and was just like, I'm good.
Every stair takes a head hit.
See, like
Donk,
I was
donk,
just
donk,
like, oh
donk,
my
donk.
God.
And then she meets Selena, and immediately they start fighting because you can't put two women in a room together without them
Except-
fighting. Am I right, guys?
Except Bechdel Pass.
Oh, that's a good point.
Bechdel Pass. First episode of the series.
Yep. And so they fight. Like, Selena can fight better than I thought she was going to. Like, Scarlett's still
Oh, yeah.
better at fighting. Selena can do some shit. And I
Yeah,
guess
that's what I
want to
know. Why is she so great at this? Also, what I want to know is Scarlett notices she has Duke's ring.
Right.
My first question would be like, hey, why do you have my boyfriend's ring again?
Well, they know that Duke was at the Cobra Temple.
Yeah, I get it. But everything from this point on in this episode, I'm like, what is happening here?
I guess Scarlett's got confidence. She's like, you know what? If Duke wants to be with the Selena slave girl.
No. She
No.
is
No.
super dismissive of her.
Relax, sister. We have the same friend.
This relaxed sister, she starts calling her kid.
Oh, I
She's
didn't
just
notice
like,
that.
you are
I
like,
noticed that, but
little girl. You're a
But still, I mean, I'm just going to jump ahead and say that at some point she runs up to Duke and
Kisses him full on the
smooches
mouth.
him
Goes
full
over.
on
Yes.
on the mouth. And Scarlett's just like, not right now. And it's like, are they bringing in a third
No,
to their
no, no, no.
relationship?
Oh, wow. I didn't think about that.
No, she knows what's up. She's like, she probably has women like throwing themselves at Duke constantly,
Probably.
and
Except Duke, when he woke up from that head injury, said, I remember a beautiful face. And like Scarlett was there. I'm just saying that right now, I want some sort of relationship defined because it seems like, because then after he kisses that chick on the mouth, he's like, Scarlett, I brought you a present. And I would be like, I don't want anything you have to offer me. I'm going to go suck Destro's D.
I don't want your gross present, Duke.
well, here's the thing
Sloppy
too, though.
second present.
This is what drove her into the arms of Snake Eyes.
She isn't the typical jealous shrew. Like, oh, what you doing with my man? Blah, 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 blah. Or, like, what are you doing, when I'm not around?
yeah.
How dare you? Which is, it shows up a lot. It's a trope that shows up a lot, and it's really kind of terrible. So it's kind of nice that she is, you know what? She is confident. She knows
yeah.
100% that he didn't do anything wrong.
He kisses her. And
No.
he doesn't say to her.
No,
here's the
she
thing.
kisses him because his hands are still up.
Yeah, but here's the thing. What I want is one scene in this. I was waiting for it. I want the scene at the end where she's like, oh, will I ever see you again? And he's like, my heart belongs to another woman. Something like that, where he gives her the brush off.
Yeah, you're gonna be disappointed.
Something. I know. I watched the episode. I'm just saying. I was expecting it at the end for her to be like, "Yay, we survived. I love you, Duke," and then for him to be like, "Oh, I've got a girlfriend. It's that chick that you were caged up with," and then she would be like, "That's weird. She saw me kiss you. She didn't have anything to say about it. Then she saw that you gave me a ring," and he would be like, "Yeah, she's super confident in her stuff because she knows she's a badass. That's how awesome she is." Bye.
But at the end, there's a tableau, and then Duke and Scarlet are standing together, and Selena's standing right there, and who moves in but Stalker? Stalker's like, I'm getting some of this.
I just am really not on board with this. Like, if it at some point Scarlet kissed another dude, I would be like, yup, all right, I get this relationship. I get that it's sort of like, hey, when we're horny, we're together. When we're not, we're not.
Well, you live in Hollywood, so that's pretty much explains 50% of all relationships.
I don't know. I feel like when that James Bond type dude came in, Scarlet was all over him, and Duke was like, hey.
That was
Lady
later.
J.
That was
Lady
later.
J.
Lady
wasn't
J?
it?
Oh, okay.
Was it? Oh, yeah.
Flint and Lady J have that kind of bad jealousy relationship thing going on. Because he was also Flint was also jealous of Lady J's college friend who flies the helicopters.
Right.
Yeah, I just want it defined. I just want them to have a scene in this cartoon where they're like, hey, we've been having sex a lot. I just want to see scene in this children's cartoon where they explain exactly what's going on. Where it's like, hey, remember that time we got drunk and I know we've been acting real relationship-y lately, but I'm in the military. I'm going to be traveling a lot.
She's in the military.
We don't know if we'll be on the same basis. You get what I'm saying. And then I want her to be like, yeah, the ratio here is 90% dudes to 10% women, so I want to keep my options open so you can bang slave girls that you
This
that
is
you
all
liberate.
of Act 2, by the way. It's just like an 8-minute
How
segment.
am I the only one that was frustrated by this? This ruined the whole episode for me. I just want the logic. I just want it to be logical.
Well, we need to reach out to Michael Bell, the actor who played Duke, and ideally, Gina, you can write this scene, and we can have him perform it on the show for your benefit.
Because he acts, he's having his cake and eating it too, is what it is.
I'm so sorry. I mean, if you can get away with it, why wouldn't you?
I just want her to be.
Oh boy, I'm gonna have to post a link
to
your Facebook page and tag your wife in
that
this.
was for you, Chad. That was completely for you and no one else.
I should not be the only one bothered by this. I want definition. Okay. Even if it's hey, we're friends with benefits, and when we're not, we're not. I'll take that. Sure. I will take that. I just want some sort of I don't understand.
G.I. Joe Real American Hero miniseries really dropped the ball in leaving the relationship between Scarlet and Duke ill-defined, or hashtag
a certain amount of nebulous communication between members of the G.I. Joe team who may or may not be dating and or sleeping together is perfectly fine with me.
I just want some definition. If later on we see her giving Snake Eyes a handy, then I'll be like, okay, I get what this relationship is. He keeps his mask on, though.
Oh, definitely.
No. Keep the mask on.
You know what? That's why he doesn't wear gloves.
Boom.
Yeah,
so
it is
finger blast Scarlet.
I'm just saying it's real inconvenient to do any sort of hand stuff when you've got gloves
You're gonna wear
on.
gloves.
Also, if you're eating popcorn, you don't want to get butter on the popcorn, and you don't want to get butter on your gloves.
Wait, are you suggesting that Scarlet and Snake Eyes are watching a movie? He's bought a big tub of popcorn. He's drilled a hole in the bottom of it.
I don't think he drilled a hole. I just think he's eating popcorn, and then at some point he's like, I could go in for a fingering.
I bet you could find that picture on the DeviantArt.
Yeah, I'll Google it. I'm gonna Google it.
Scarlet popcorn.
Date night, Scarlet Snake Eyes popcorn fingering. If you can find that, I'm putting it on the page. Okay. I'm not putting it on the page. You guys can find that shit on your own.
What'd you say? Date night, Scarlet?
Date night, Scarlet Snake Eyes popcorn fingering.
Finger blast.
And I don't actually think I want to know if that's it. Okay, I'm going to move forward.
Yep.
So G.I. Joe has its own mass device now. They've got the 3 elements. They've got their scientists. G.I. Joe now has a mass device. We're good to go. That's all I got. That's that whole scene just to establish that for later. Cut back to Cobra Temple. Destro's got. Oh, now Destro is taking control of the operation because he was furious. Yes, I'm
real
missing-
quick. Going back to the first face-off between the two ladies.
Yes.
Scarlett's explaining things. 6'2", eyes of blue. But he would want us to understand. And then she does a freaking karate chop and chops a hunk of wood out of the bench.
That is correct.
I don't understand what she was. What is that picture?
Oh,
What is
Jesus Christ. It's
Whoa.
deviant art porn.
All right.
All right.
That's
she found it.
He's still got the mask on. He's
Yeah.
still got the mask on.
Of course.
Oh,
Snake
boy.
Eyes still
Thank
has
you.
the- wow.
No, Chan, keep going with your thought, please. I don't want to think about that anymore.
Oh wait, she's kissing him without she lifted his mask up Spider-Man style.
Ew.
Oh.
Yeah, but they're both right side up, so that's weird. Yeah, I don't understand what message she's trying to convey. Immediately thereafter, of course, Girlie's like, yeah, exactly. And then she
kicks the bench and it flies to the stratosphere.
Right. I just don't understand what the karate chopping the bench means.
Well, I think she's trying to say we're going to kick some ass together. And I'm going to show it physically because we're both strong
I think
women.
she's trying to say, hey, we need. Oh fuck, there's a lot of
Oh,
guys.
Jesus Christ. Gina, okay, you got to stop
where's
now. That
Destro
is-
though? Why is this?
That's not dead. I don't think
Well, you
that's.
can't
I
really
know.
see the dude well. Maybe it is Destro.
Yeah,
Why-
but that's true.
Why are all these snake eye dick pics available, and we don't get to see
God.
Destro's silver? I
Oh,
presume.
yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Chan, why did you have to give her a new thing to search?
Destro's silver penis. Go ahead and Google that.
Bang,
and,
bang, Destro's silver
us what-
penis came down.
Here's the thing. I think saying 6'2", eyes of blue is like a weird thing. It's like being like, my sexy boyfriend who you kind of want a taste of. Everything about this is weird to me.
It is weird. Yeah.
you know what? There's a song called "Has Anybody Seen My Gal?" So,
and she's 6'2", eyes of blue?
5'2", eyes of blue.
Oh, okay.
So he's doing a
Nope.
reference
Nope.
gag.
Yep.
Nope, no good. Oh, Gina. Gina's stomach's
What?
been turned by something she just saw.
Wow, you were just a moment ago. You were showing off all of these crazy pictures of huge snake eyes dicks going into.
Google Destro penis.
I'm not going to. No, I don't need that in my life.
Go ahead, keep going, Ray. I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
no, it's
I'm
it's
just
made
gonna,
Gina like she's turned right now. She is turned on the whole idea.
What? 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 No! Whoa!
No, I gotta see it now.
Whoa! No!
Once you see it, you cannot see
That's
it.
it.
Oh
Like the
boy!
Pikachu.
Okay, Ray brought this on himself. People, just know that for a fact. That's this is what comes up.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I didn't need to see that. That's not even Destro.
No.
No, I don't understand. It's just like it's basically like destroyed penises. I think.
That's probably what.
Guys, don't do that. Just for yourself at home, don't do that.
Yeah.
Because that's it. This destroyed penis.
Sorry for the people that just jumped right on that and Googled before
You made a
you
mistake.
heard our
You
voices
made
saying,
a mistake,
"Oh."
and I am sorry.
Nope, that is not.
Okay, so I'm going to keep going. So Destro's plan is to get all because they've already kidnapped all these world leaders, but it's just like generals. It's not even like the presidents and stuff. It's like ambassadors. and shit.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Look who's a snob about rank.
Yeah, well,
rank snob.
If you had all the presidents and premiers and prime ministers,
Yeah.
they can make decisions. If you just steal a ranking general,
By the way, why
He
are all these
doesn't ca-
dudes?
I wondered that too.
What?
There should have been a lady mixed in with the
Well,
leader.
no,
Yeah.
if they're all the military leaders, then
I don't know if
unquestionably
they
they would
are
all be
all
men.
military.
I don't think they are all
leaders.
military leaders.
I thought it was just like some sort of leader from each country.
I considered it an ambassador from each country
It's
who sometimes is military.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too. It's like you can't kidnap the queen.
I mean, the Queen did
You
not.
can't kidnap
no.
Angela
because-
Merkel.
They went to that island.
They went to
There's
that
no
island
way
in
the
Canada.
Queen was going to that damn island.
No. So it was just
Yeah,
this
I
was
feel
like the
Angela
B team.
Merkel would go there.
Well, it's the B team of leaders from each country.
This
It's like
is 1984. Angela Merkel was not in
It
power.
was probably a female. I just throw one in there. It's a cartoon.
I agree with that 100%.
It's like in Game of Thrones when it's like, hey, why can't there be women that aren't getting raped, and why can't? And it's like, oh well, that's not realistic. Show that has dragons.
correct.
So we're comparing G.I. Joe to Game of Thrones right now.
I think it holds up.
I'm
Holds
saying
up.
you could have drawn in one or two female leaders.
You passed the Bechdel test this episode, Gina. How much do you want from...
Oh, you want two women talking now?
I passed the Bechdel test, but that whole that woman's presence confuses me.
Yes, it's confounding. They refer to Destro as the leader of Cobra, which I thought was an interesting, just...
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, because he took over.
Yes, he's taken over the operation.
And he very clearly told them all, I am boss now.
But also remember, these are the only episodes that have G.I. Joe against Cobra and Destro.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I wonder if this episode is when he gets demoted.
Well, we'll get there at the end because the end leaves us. I'm curious how the next one
the
starts.
end was very confusing.
Yeah, and also,
I mean, we know how the next one starts. Didn't
No,
we
but
watch it?
I don't remember the specifics of how they introduce Cobra again at the beginning of the next miniseries a year
okay.
later because we are left at a point.
This is going to start our rewatch and our re-podcast.
We're going to start it again.
Episode.
Loop it. Pyramid of
We're
Darkness.
going to notice even more things this time around.
I guarantee it.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that, like we were talking about earlier, they sort of realize, I've got the brains and I have the charisma, I guess. So
Cobra Commander has the big picture vision. Destro has the small picture vision.
Destro makes things and Cobra Commander leads.
Correct. He's a leader. Destro is not a leader of men, and that's what's established in this episode because he basically orders the leaders to submit to Cobra and get back with your people, and he finds out there's all this bureaucracy that Cobra Commander completely knows about. He knows it's not just an easy process, and so when Cobra Commander's sitting back laughing at Destro for everything going sideways here and him just not getting anywhere, I found it to be just delightful.
This is like Destro's moment where he's like, "Oh, being president is hard. It's a lot harder than I thought."
Yeah, I could go back to my life as a reality TV star.
Exactly,
Destro was thinking to himself.
But also, he comes up with a plan that I'm on board with at some point in this
Well, this
episode.
is what's crazy to me, is Destro is so angry at Cobra Commander for wasting resources, attacking New York, and failing. And when things get rough for Destro, the very first thing he decides to do is attack New York.
Eradicate New York.
Yeah, he does the exact same thing that just 2 scenes earlier he was furious that Cobra Commander had done. That shows you how difficult this job is.
I get it. They probably spent 5 minutes in New York. And then each of them
they
realized
wanna
it's a
destroy it.
terrible, terrible place.
It's a terrible place to
and
be.
wanted to destroy
Cobra
it.
Commander did not have the resources to destroy New York. Destro did. They just didn't know that G.I. Joe had
Their own mouse
counter
device.
mouse device.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he
I'm on
would
board with
have
this.
just leveled the whole
And
place.
Can you give me a sound pull here? Because my favorite, this is one of my, I loved it. I got a little goosebumpy. Destro and Cobra Commander talking to each other, and Destro's like, don't they realize, this back and forth was killer.
Don't they realize they're dealing with Destro?
Oh, I'd say they all know that, and it doesn't frighten them in the least.
And then he adds an extra hiss.
Yeah, I just want to leave that extra S right at the end there.
Oh, God.
Who do
It's
we
just
think
so good.
is on
So
top
good.
in their verbal battles here?
Who's on? I mean,
Destro is correct.
Yeah.
But also Cobra Commander.
Has sicker burns?
no, because I think Destro has the sicker burns, but Cobra Commander's kind of got the pull behind him. Like when Cobra Commander says something, he is from a position of power, so he can be snarky. When Destro steps out of line, Cobra Commander is the one that can slap him back down again. It does not always go the other way.
Okay.
Because things like this keep happening whenever we've noticed in the show, whenever Destro is put in charge of the operation, he fucks it up. He's not a leader.
I think at this point he realizes, because we see the power dynamic, Cobra Commander is just sniping at him and getting in the zingers and like, what you can do? Destro realizes, oh, wait a minute. I could be second in command, still make just as much money. This doofus takes all the blame because he's got the bloated head and he wants everybody to be, all eyes on me. I'm going to hang back and I'm just going to I'm going to talk shit about him, and what's he going to do? He's not going to do anything.
Because
He's perfect.
they need
He's
each
perfect.
other.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Destro, he doesn't know how to talk to people. He doesn't know how to get people to do things. Cobra Commander is a master at this.
Yeah, I think what it is Destro is the brains behind the operation. Cobra Commander is the public face of the corporation.
Yeah, and it works.
Yeah, but neither is happy.
No, neither both want to be both. Destro wants to be the leader, and Cobra Commander is fine. Would just as soon have all control of the operation, but he knows he can't do it.
I feel like Destro knows for a fact that Cobra will always lose. But if he's second in command, he takes none of the blame again. He gets all of the money. So this is the point where he was like, go ahead and take Cobra and Destro down and just say Cobra the enemy. I'm going to be back here. You don't need to put my name on the flyers anymore.
And Cobra Commander is totally fine with that.
Yeah.
I think that Destro is the one with like the long-term plan. Like he's been squirreling away money in his 401k for a while. We've talked about this before. Have you guys watched The Wire?
No.
Oh, you motherfuckers.
I've seen The Wire. Don't
All 5
pluralize
seasons of
that.
The Wire?
Yes.
I'm the only motherfucker.
I feel like Destro is his Stringer Bell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he's like the smart one that has a plan.
Destro's a Soundwave.
Yeah.
But Destro also always has one foot out the door, ready to go. Like at any given time. I think most Cobra, with the exception of maybe of like Major Blood, every single like elite member of Cobra is ready to put their LinkedIn profile back up again. They're at any given time.
Ooh, that would be a fun thing to do. We could create LinkedIn profiles for all of the
G.I. Joe characters.
G.I. Joe characters.
I got to get hired as Destro.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
I got it! Wow!
Introducing the G.I. Joe USS Flag Aircraft Carrier. Imagine being on the deck of this aircraft carrier.
The USS Flag is fantastic! It's so big! Over deck middle blast station! Get ready to launch aircraft! Where's the Admiral? Not here!
G.I. Joe!
Fire! Restart Cobra! Go, Joe!
G.I. Joe USS Flag Aircraft Carrier comes with what you see here. Other figures and equipment sold separately from Hasbro. Now, back to G.I. Joe.
So back at the Cobra Temple other side, there's a slave revolt because Selena and Scarlet have to take the food to Ramar and the other like slaves.
Which, by the way, why is that their job?
Because they're women, of course.
I don't like this one bit.
Well, the weirder thing is that they took all the food and put it on the table. There's not a long way to go at that point. Why didn't you just give them the food? You've done all of the work already. Why do you have
like
them
the
come in?
guards? You mean the guards?
Whoever brought the food in, they
I think it's
set
to
it all
demean
up.
the women
Because
further.
the food is already there. That's right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
I think it's to demean the women further. I think
Probably.
it's to be like, go bring it that 2 feet. No, I don't. I'm not going to do it. You bring it that 2 feet, woman.
it seems like they should just make them take it from the kitchen. That seems way more demeaning.
But some of the slaves look like they're not wearing headbands.
They did, and there were
They're
points
all
when
chained
Scarlet
up.
appeared like she was not wearing a headband
Yeah,
either.
I thought maybe, I was like, maybe they just didn't want to draw headbands on all of them.
It could be an animation mistake, but we all know those don't exist. So clearly they were taking them off and on again as they were just feeling like it and nobody was noticing. That makes way more sense than a simple animation mistake. But so the big fight breaks out. Like Scarlet and Selena try a slave revolt, which is crazy because we're like halfway through episode 5 of a 5-part miniseries, and then the slave revolt is put down. In like, didn't you think this was going to kind of work?
Yeah, I thought that this would be like the rest of the episode would be them escaping and fighting and then like getting outside, and then
Right.
once they get outside, the Joes show up.
And how about that Cobra dude who's going to fire a bazooka into the crowd of the slaves and other Cobra people fighting that Scarlet
like
has to
this
take
is-
the bazooka from him?
This is par for the course. I feel like.
You
I
think
feel
this
like
is
Cobra
normal?
Commander teaches them things like this in
Man.
like being a grunt 101. Like he's like, all right, if there's ever any type of unrest, if I'm not in there, feel free to fire on the crowd.
Could you? But they're in the unit together. Could you imagine like how awkward it is if he shoots that, kills a few people the next day in like the lunch line? It's like, for fuck's sake, Johnny, I was in that fucking crowd. You saw me.
He would be
We
like,
made eye contact.
Man, we were in that same 101 class together.
Right.
Cobra Commander clearly said fire into a crowd. I didn't know you were in there. Everyone's wearing masks.
We looked at each other, Johnny. This is bullshit.
I didn't end up doing it.
Okay, but you were gonna. You wanted to. I could see you were gonna.
Are you gonna eat your apple pie?
To have my apple pie. I'm not even hungry anymore.
Lunchtime conversations at the Cobra Temple.
Boop, 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 Cobra Commissary. It's our new pitch for NBC.
I would watch the crap out of that.
Would
An
be-
entire show just set in the Cobra Commissary?
It would sort
I
of
would
be like
love that.
Powerless,
Yeah.
except Cobra and more delightful.
It would be like you would be hearing about all the amazing things, but it would be like the cast of Scrubs or
Yeah.
something.
It'd be like a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
Yeah.
But with like Cobra rank and file soldiers and just like their lives.
I'm on board for this. Transfer the rights of all G.I. Joe to us, and we will write the show.
We can make a sketch.
Ray,
Oh,
I
that's
want
too
to
much.
make millions of dollars.
That's what. But everybody
Not
who's ever
spend
posted a
$10
video
on G.I. Joe costumes.
on Funny or Die, those people make $1 million a video.
That's
I heard.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, what's up? Moving forward, we get to Duke and his big, like, this is clearly like a ripoff of the Star Wars scene with Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi. When remember that scene where he's in that tank and his hand is getting, like, repaired?
He's
No?
not in a tank.
Yeah, he's in a tank and he's, like, floating there. isn't he?
No.
A back to tank is what he's talking about, not a tank full of water, not the
Not like a boom boom
drivey
tank.
vehicle tank.
I know, but I don't.
Am I wrong? This scene exists,
No, you are
right?
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Oh,
I'm like,
what?
you're
Luke
making me doubt
Skywalker,
myself.
Empire Strikes Back. After he's attacked by the Wampa, he's in a back to tank, recuperating.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying after he gets his hand cut off.
I thought
that's
it was
how
after his
they.
hand cut off.
No,
That's
that was
how they
not.
Oh, my
regrow the
timeline's
hand.
terrible.
But I
Yeah.
distinctly remember them touching the hands with the needles
Right.
and him.
Yeah.
Poking around.
You guys.
Yes.
You skipped way ahead.
Whoa.
Hey, you skipped over the part where the G.I. Joes shot their own
Excuse
mass
me.
beam, blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
Don't even
right.
care. Don't even care.
I didn't have any notes for that. To be
Not
honest.
the point. The point is, shh.
We shall be free! Yeah!
Yeah! That's all I wanted. Okay, now we can move on.
Maybe that explains why Scarlett's not concerned about this chick. Like she's like, oh my god, this chick is never gonna do this. Never
Yeah?
gonna.
Really? Yo, Joe.
Yeah.
Please, Yo, Joe.
I
Do
just
you not understand?
remember the Joe to be like, these are the new Joes, and them just being like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, just that's the reaction of just like, fuck, they're here too now. God, you guys have no idea how shitty this place is.
I mean, theoretically, since they make everyone into Joes,
They do.
this slave girl is made into a Joe.
I think she's like on a puppy farm with like satin somewhere.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say she's like where like the kind of slow ones go.
Oh no.
Like where they like tell them that they're doing good work, but they're like yes, you protect this forest. What are we protecting it from? Cobra might come and try to enslave this forest.
What's like that senior citizens home that's pretending to be like a community, but it's not?
What?
Where they have like stores and things, but none of it's real. It's basically like a sound stage. They pretend to be going out among other people, but it's just like them and like.
Do they know it's not real?
Well, they don't. The people running the place don't care. They're like, well, it's sort of real. That's good enough, right? We'll have actors playing cashiers, and it's just like it's that kind of a thing, but for Selena in G.I. Joe.
Oh,
Now I'm sad. So Duke is doing the meditating, and then we do have the "This is your life" moment of like somehow they can go into his brain and show clips. And
Also-
Gina, I know you've got something to say about this.
well, he's in his undies. First of all,
Yeah, he looked
like,
good.
in his like tighty whitey undies.
Yeah.
Like they don't even give him boxers.
Hold on, let's back up before that. There's a dude eating an apple, and I don't know why.
What?
oh, Breaker, yeah, is it
Take
Breaker?
the memory of his Cobra captivity, which has somehow been erased. Let's start at the beginning, Duke.
While all of that is happening, while Doc is explaining what's going on, Breaker fucking pulls out an apple.
I think it might have been Clutch.
No,
too.
what he
It's
says
one
is
of-
before that he says,
It looks so weird. He's in no danger.
"It looks so weird." He takes out an apple, starts eating the apple. I was
is
like,
Breaker.
"Oh, what is it? Is that going to be like a thing where he, like he focuses on the apple and it turns into a memory?" No, he's just eating an apple, and then we
moments.
move on.
I
Character
mean,
moments.
I like that they answer one of the questions of like when do they eat. I think the next scene will be like one of them pooping, giving orders through the door.
If that were, or if it's in Ray's household, door wide open, and they just have conversations without making eye contact.
well, you guys can't be bringing that on the show. I told you that in confidence, Chan. Okay, but so Gina, you got to have some opinions on this because they cut to moments of Duke's life. So he was a football player in like high school, and apparently he went to Yale because he had the big like Y like college sweatshirt on. And then
That could be anywhere.
and then it could be anywhere that starts with a Y.
York?
Gijoe University.
Excuse
York?
me. He could have gone to Yojo or York University. I like Yojo.
Yummy
University.
snacks.
There is a moment when they cut to Selena, and then we like, and every single member of the Joe team freaks the shit out. They're all just like, "Whoa, mama, woo,
Yeah.
wooga,
It's like they've never
wooga."
seen a chick before.
It was like Brent Musburger at a college football championship game.
Hey, look at her. Wow. She's pretty.
I feel like
Hey, man, how could he forget a face like that?
Who the hell is that?
I think that was
no idea.
Who the hell has?
I think that was Torpedo. And what's amazing about that is everybody else has like their combat gear in the final scene, and Torpedo's running around in a white T-shirt and jeans, like just like that's his outfit today.
Is this the scene where we see Scarlett in the audience?
You found that weird screenshot where she is. Yes, she's in the G.I. Joe base while she's also captured.
That happens
I don't know
sometimes.
where that was from.
That happens. Like remember when Quick Kick before he had joined the Joe team was at the base in a crowd shot.
I contended that was CoverGirl cosplaying for Duke because he's got a weird redhead fetish.
I'm into it. I'm into it. Yeah, and so everybody freaks out, and it's mostly upsetting because like you have seen a woman before, right? Like
or maybe
it's
they were
kinda
like
gross.
maybe they like thought like Duke is like asexual or something, and then it's like that
nobody
moment
thinks that.
where you realize like your buddy likes girls. Or
oh,
something.
you have sex.
Yeah, like you.
Wait a minute.
Did you touch a hoot?
Wait a
Did you
minute.
touch a hooter?
That seems real specific, and I'm wondering if she's not talking about one or both of us.
Oh no!
Like Gina was like, "Oh, really? You have
Someone
a
would
girlfriend?
do that
How
with
did
you?
Wow. Yeah, I've never thought of that before. Ooh.
That doesn't seem right at all.
This is what I think about most of my friends.
I mean, you're not wrong. Okay, so we find out that Selena's got the ring, which conveniently has a homing device in it. So now, because we know the ring is there, to me, this is something that could have been found out 2 episodes ago, but whatever. I'll go with the trope.
Yeah.
And so now we know where the Cobra Temple is. We can go there. At which point we get the final. Everybody, they say, let's mass out, which I thought was just weird phrasing.
They're all going to play Mass Effect
They're
together.
gonna play Mass Effect.
Give us an excellent homing fix on the Cobra hideout.
Then start massing us out, Dr. Vandermeer.
It's just weird. That's a weird way to
It
say
sounds
it.
like he's like getting ready for like a weightlifting competition.
He's gonna put on some
And
mass.
it's like
mass out, baby.
phase 1 like carb load. Phase 2 water starvation. Phase 3 mass out.
Mass out. Phase 4, lift the fucking weight.
Phase 5 profit.
Phase 5, profit. And boning. You do that? Okay. So this leads us to the big final climactic battle of the miniseries. When did G.I. Joe get spider tanks?
Man,
What the fuck were those spider tanks?
Super ineffective.
Well-
Like, there's so many better ways. Why would you put a fucking tank on that thing?
How are those tiny legs holding up that giant body of the temple? Now, here's my other question. Because G.I. Joe gets to the temple and immediately has to climb up this entire mountain to get to the temple.
Right.
Why not mass to the top where that plateau was so nobody has to climb their way up?
Why didn't they
Bad
mass?
planning.
They should. I mean, if I understand this technology correctly, they should have massed directly on top of Selena.
They should have gone right to the slave pens,
Yeah.
which maybe would have been unfortunate. Hindsight.
The
Also-
jetpacks, however,
Yes.
were awesome.
The jetpacks were great. How also, because the fight starts, and within 5 seconds of the fight starting, air support shows up. Does this mean they didn't mass the planes, they only massed the dudes. So that air support apparently... Oh, why didn't they just all take the air support, I guess is my question.
Like,
Because
wait
they
a minute.
arrived simultaneously.
Hold on. Is this just a Detroit? Well, shit, bring the planes around. God damn it, if we had known. Like, all right, whatever.
It's at Wrigley Field? Seriously? That's 3 blocks from here.
Yo, they had big cauldrons of lava, which doesn't, in terms of efficiency, It's real far down the list of things to repel invaders with.
There were just some weird, like, all of a sudden they busted out all the weirdest shit they could.
There was a floating UFO platform.
That was how awesome was that? I wanted that to be a bar. I wanted that to be a bar above the city that I could go hang out at.
Oh, you mean like drinking? Yeah.
Yes.
The thing that I was focused on was, so Snake Eyes just totally recovered from his radiation sickness?
Yes. Oh, he's fine. Yeah, the leaves absorbed it.
Yeah, so
You
he's
don't
like
understand
never
how
going to have
radiation
to
works,
worry
Gina?
about that again?
Come on now.
Well,
Never going to have to worry about that again?
he'll never have kids, no matter what he's doing with Scarlet. Could you give me one? This is the sound effect I thought you were going for earlier. The sound, because Cobra flies in with a bunch of these fang gliders, and they get shot down into the trees. And the sounds of the gliders going into the trees was different. Well, what is that?
That's Velcro.
It was Velcro.
Yeah.
The sound of a glider falling into a tree
Yes.
is pulling apart Velcro.
Yes.
It just
What don't you understand
In the
here,
moment
Ray?
it hit me. I was like, "What?
Come on, Ray."
What just
I mean, it
happened?
makes sense. They
perfectly
stick
obvious.
it to the outside, and the trees are Velcro
Okay,
trees.
guys, I take it all back.
It's like when you had that toy that you have two mitts and a Velcro, and they have Velcro on them, and you throw a ball. back and
Oh,
forth.
yeah.
Oh, I
with the
like that.
Velcro.
You guys
Okay.
remember that one?
Oh,
Velcro ball.
It's a
Is
delight.
that what it's called?
Also, we had
I don't remember what it's called.
we had another classic moment of Snake Eyes flying in and shooting machine gun noises
Yes,
while he shot
indeed.
lasers, which
Yep.
was also great.
He's probably just making them all with his mouth, but since you can't see his mouth,
He's like the Michael Winslow
exactly,
of G.I. Joe.
exactly.
Just because he's all in black, you're like, oh, it's a black man, right? Yeah, sure.
No, I think he's making Michael Winslow-esque noises with his mouth, and that's why he wears that mask, because it's more. He's like a ventriloquist, but he couldn't quite keep his mouth closed.
So he's like the
Whoa.
Jeff Dunham /
He would
Michael
be
Winslow of
the
G.I.
best
Joe.
ventriloquist.
He can't
Look.
talk, Gina. Let me start there.
Yeah,
Can't
you just
or
think
won't?
he can't talk. It's part of his act.
Yeah, it's just like Teller talks, for crying out loud.
And then we escalate the fight even further to these Cobra robot monsters. that are
Mecha
like
snake thing.
Yeah, that we've never seen before or after.
Since. And also magnetic grenades.
How cool are the magnetic grenades?
I
They
was like,
literally-
wait, why is this a thing?
It's
already?
so cool, though, because he's just like, let's use the magnetic grenades. They put the thing on the gun barrel. Duke just shoots it up in the air, and then wonk, 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 and it blows the shit out of these giant Cobra things. That was cool as F, man.
Why weren't they using that the entire time?
They had
Because
the
that seems
technology.
far and
Yeah,
away the
that's
most
what. Why
effective
isn't
tool
our
they
own
have.
military using that?
At which point, like, the slaves kind of get unrevolted. Like, the girls are still, they're still prisoners. But Ramar takes a scene, and the scene where Ramar grabs a Cobra bike and chucks it through a window that's 6 stories up in the room that he's in.
I mean,
that
they need
shit was
to.
awesome.
They need to recruit this dude for G.I. Joe.
Yes.
That's a 7-second roar.
I mean, he's got some lung capacity on him.
Yeah,
He
does.
is efforting that thing. That's not some easy thing he does to show off. He was working.
Also,
to get
how
that
long were these
motorcycle.
people slaves? They lost no muscle mass while they were slaving it up.
Well, he didn't because he's fighting in the arena all the time against robots and
So
what
you're
have
saying
you.
that they're giving him like the necessary 8,000 calories a day that he needs to maintain that muscle mass?
He does pool work.
I'm saying, like, are they bringing out? Is he like drinking a protein shake every hour? Do you know how much work it takes to maintain that physique?
Yes, and I don't do it. But the other slaves look like kind of doughy though. They're kind of like gaunt. Like the other slaves don't look like Ramar. I think it's a just him thing.
Okay,
Because they keep him up
Some
as a
of the
gladiator.
slaves were pretty buff.
Yeah, I just remember them all looking like old 50-year-old white men. Like,
Some of them were buff.
Okay, well, fair enough. Let's see here.
Gina would know.
Gina would know.
Yeah.
Gina's looking
She was
for
just
it.
looking at
I
the
was
butts.
pausing it and then rubbing my fingers in a Mr. Burns way every time one of them came on screen.
Oh, Ramar is Peter Cullen, so that makes sense.
Oh,
that
that makes
dude's
a
got
lot of
that
sense.
dude's got some lungs on him.
Can work. And then we get to the final aspect here. Now, there's a door that Cobra slams down. G.I. Joe runs up, shoots the door a whole bunch, and then the door just falls over
Hold on.
intact. Which I
This-
love.
That's how doors work.
That's how
This
doors
is the
work.
sound of the Joes focusing their lasers
Yes.
and bringing down the door.
Yes.
Yep.
And we get the
Boing.
Lorimar.
I don't think that's part of the music, right?
No,
Oh, that
that
was-
is the sound effect of the door being melted.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
I
that
thought
is-
it was just like a part of the music, like.
Nope.
It's the Foley folks are having a ball, being like, who cares anymore? We got to have 20 sound effects banged out in the next 30 minutes. What's around the office? Velcro? Yeah, that's fine. Just Velcro. That's the gliders. Okay,
Wait,
cool.
Dogs
Also,
and cats.
so does Destro try and destroy Earth here? And isn't that an ill-advised plan?
I love this plan. Actually, I'll tell you why I love this plan. So, yes. So, they come to Destro, who's about to run away. Destro's the only... Well, we'll get there. But Destro takes the mass device with what resources they have left and aims it at the core of the Earth to destroy the entire Earth. Cobra Commander is not on board with this plan.
I don't understand why Destro is on board with this plan.
This is why he gets away.
Yes.
This is brilliant because he's given G.I. Joe a problem they have no choice but to solve. And he doesn't think this is going to work. He just knows they have to stop it and not stop him.
Yep.
That's why it's so fucking brilliant.
Destro
I
is
guess he
smart.
does have that moon space station thing.
He's got
that
that's
he
true.
can always flee to.
He's always got a space station at any given time. But no, he's given, and like I said, he doesn't think this is going to work. He knows G.I. Joe's coming into the room and they will stop him.
Everything about this ending is horribly upsetting to me.
Yeah, so Destro escapes.
That part is not upsetting.
You see Major Blood is captured, Baroness is captured, all the Cobra troops are captured, and then Cobra Commander somehow tries to escape with a basket on his head wearing a cloak.
I'm just a lady, little old laundry lady.
They were just going to let anybody walk away from this base.
This is the only time we see them all captured.
Mm-hmm.
Also, how do they get away after this?
This is why I'm curious how the next series starts.
Well, Destro is still free, so my guess is he busts them out.
I mean, here's the thing. You've got to, like, royally screw up. Like, basically, if the Joes let 3 criminals of war escape, I would, if I was the government, I'd be like, hey... We're shutting you down now.
You got to Gitmo these guys, right? You got to pull them away.
Or I was thinking like the Shield prison.
Oh, sure, okay.
Oh, the one up in space?
Yeah.
No,
the one that
in the
stops
water?
the powers.
Isn't there? Well, they've got a few different Shield
Right.
prisons.
Well, I would
But
say...
put them all in different Shield prisons is what I'm saying. Put them all in separate prisons.
You know what? How many opportunities did Destro have to kill General Flag? How many times did he specifically say,
Yes, okay.
I'm going to execute you myself, I'm doing it for realsies this time.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's happening now. Let me just drag you another 50 feet
Let me
in this
take you into this
direction.
room. Yeah.
He was like, capture Scarlet and the slave girl alive. Scarlet, maybe. You want to use her as leverage for something. The slave girl, capture her too. I want them alive so that I can question mark.
Weird sex stuff.
Yeah, fuck them, I guess.
Is
the
that
answer.
I only get turned on when slave girls revolt against me.
I believe that does turn him on, just for the record.
You never kill fertile women. That's what I've learned from the Handmaid's
From the
Tale.
yeah.
I mean, it's a good plan.
This is very forward looking.
But he's also a gentleman. I
Is
think
he?
that I mean, I still want him to end up with Scarlet.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, Scarlet and Snake Eyes is good too.
Yeah,
but
all he has to do is turn around and just break the dude's neck, and meanwhile he's just dragging him through this active war scene, being like, "When we get to this next room, that's where I'm going to kill you."
I think he like can't kill. I think that's his big secret. I think
think
he's
so?
like he has like a flaccid killing thing.
Flaccid killing thing.
Yeah, like he can't.
Okay,
He
I
can't
think
perform.
Gina thinks of a penis as like a murder organ.
No, she definitely
and, like,
does.
You can only kill when you're at full hardness.
That's correct.
And if it's just sort of like just dangling there, then it's not possible.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Game of Thrones. They only have soft wieners on Game of Thrones, and when someone's wiener is out, they can never kill someone.
That's true. I've never seen a man with a boner on Game of Thrones kill someone.
This is, I guess, correct.
Logic checks out.
I'm moving on. The final beat is Breaker has to put the Eiffel Tower back in Paris.
Wait,
but
we're just gonna gloss over the fact that that woman kisses the.
Oh yeah, I'm
Duke,
sorry. Yeah,
and
so
then...
she flat out hard makes out with Duke. Selena does.
Yeah, when they release Scarlet.
Yeah, and then Scarlett's just like, hold on, there will be plenty of time for you to tongue kiss my boyfriend later. Aren't I a good sport? I'm a cool girl.
I'm a cool girl who lets her boyfriend cheat on her.
A girl gets tired hanging around the house. Later, sister. We've got a war to win.
Yeah, I guess there was no actual sound effects. There was no...
I like the Baroness,
earlier.
yeah. Whoa,
Yeah.
and you know what? I'm glad.
Like, she's basically saying, oh, later, we've got a war to win. Once we win this war, you can do all manner of unspeakable things to the man who, for all intents and purposes, we are assuming is my boyfriend.
Yeah.
No, she says later because she knows by the time everything's cleaned up, it's like, all right, you got to go now. No, but wait a minute. I'm sorry. He's already left. Duke's already taken off.
And the damage is already done. I would already be pretty pissed. I don't care if there's an active war zone going on.
He didn't do anything.
He gave her his ring. He had like a fantasy about her where he was like, I remember a face.
Okay.
I mean, it turns out that it's a homing device, so I think that was the reasoning behind it.
He doesn't mention that at all.
Well, it's funny because he doesn't even know his ring is missing until that moment.
That's true. That's true. But also, like, yeah, it's just, I would be real suspicious of this. Like, I would be like, hey, did you pretend to hit on that lady because you wanted her to help break you out? Is that what happened? And if he was like, yeah, I'd be like, okay.
Could you imagine if he had been like a dick to her, so she threw the ring away, and they end up going to some like garbage dump in
Yeah, like I'm
place?
saying, if his plan all along was like, all right, I'll use my manly charms on this slave girl, and then she'll help me escape. And I'll give her my ring so that, like, if that was the plan, then fine.
I think that was his plan. I give Duke credit in this one that
you
he
think
gave
that
her
he
the
was
ring
using
because
her?
it's not. I think it's using her. I'm just saying, like, he gave her the ring because he knew it was a homing device, and then hit his head because he's Duke, and then just forgot everything.
I think that he was like, all right, I gotta have chicks in backup locations.
Well, that's definitely true.
I just don't. It just makes no
I
sense to me.
got hoes in different area codes.
In different Cobra holes.
I mean, here's the thing: have they only been flirting up until this point? Have Scarlet and Duke only been flirting up until this point?
Well, you know, they make at the very beginning when she buzzes him, and like, you know, they're being awfully familiar with each other. It implies relationship.
But here's the thing: because if it's just flirting, then this answers all my questions. Because there's plenty of people that like you're flirty with, but you're not actually like boning.
It's possible that nothing's been established up to this point, and maybe they are just in the flirty stage.
I can't recall, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not as infuriating as I think.
Okay. Well, getting to the end then is the Eiffel Tower breaker puts it in London instead of Paris because he's just kind of a dope.
By the way, that would kill so many people.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
If
And how
you
do they?
dropped a giant monument in the middle of a populated city.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in theory, it might have been coordinated, but you are not wrong. Also, how do they get it onto that
definitely
boat?
It was not coordinated. He was
coordinated.
like, I press a button, bloop, there it is.
Yeah, otherwise he wouldn't have put it in London.
I guess that's true. Had he coordinated the people of London, they would have been like, "No, that doesn't go here, sir."
Yeah,
I guess that's a great point.
meanwhile,
Huh?
there's like 5 people under each leg, like, get off of us!
Oh God.
Mhm. Yeah, no, they wouldn't be saying that, though. They would just be dead.
It's like Philadelphia
Just a
Experiment
smush.
2.
Yep.
Unless for the one guy that like it landed on his big toe, and he's like,
It still would hurt really bad,
yeah, of
but
course.
he'd be grateful.
He's gonna be walking weird for the rest of his life, and he better sue the U.S. military for all they're worth.
Yeah. No, but they somehow they move it to a boat and then they boat it over to Paris, which I wasn't really sure the logistics of just moving the monument of the Eiffel Tower. I'll go with it. I'm on board. They found a way. They have a mass device. Maybe they.
No, they.
Oh, that's right. They used all the
ran out of
resources.
the compound.
Damn it, I can't make
chemical
excuses
compound
anymore. I don't know
things.
what's happening anymore.
Yeah.
But that's the end of the episode. Welcome to G.I. Joe, everybody. I hope you buy our toys. That's essentially it.
I would be very confused playing with these toys because I would be like, is she his boyfriend?
Oh,
is he her boyfriend? What's happening here? I'm just saying. Clarify the relationship next time, G.I. Joe.
Maybe they didn't know. Maybe they're like two comedy souls.
You know
they
what?
just don't know what's going on.
That's fine. That's fine if they were like all I want is one line where when they're like being flirty in that first episode, they're like, haha, oh, I like how we always flirt, but we've never actually hooked up or gone on a date before. All right, time to go on this mission.
Or just, see you at home tonight where we live together as boyfriend and girlfriend.
Wait, also in the movie, and I might be totally wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Who is Channing Tatum in this in the movie?
Duke.
Because Scarlett in the movie, I think, is hooking up with Wayans.
Yeah, he's Stalker, I believe. Is that right?
So why does that happen? Because they have this whole relationship between Channing Tatum and the Baroness.
Why is Duke and Cobra Commander brothers? Like, I mean, like they do weird shit. Why was Baroness a former member of G.I. Joe?
Oh,
they make weird choices in the live action.
But I want them to justify it. Why isn't the Baroness? Why doesn't she have an accent? Why isn't it Sienna Miller or someone forgettable? Just get an actress with brown hair that is really actually German or something like that. You can't find a German actress?
I guarantee they could have if they looked hard enough.
Write them an angry letter back in 2005.
No, like the G.I. Joe.
Whenever that movie came out.
The live action movie did a few things that I liked, but for the most part, it was like, why are you fucking with this lore? Just don't.
I liked it better before I knew anything about this world. Now that I do, I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
That's how I felt.
I like Christopher Eccleston as Destro.
Sure.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, now that I'm thinking back to it, I'm like, oh, didn't whoever Wayans is hook up with?
Yeah.
Also, which Wayans was it?
Well, maybe he played Roadblock.
Marlon?
No, because The Rock plays
He played
Roadblock.
Ripcord.
He played Ripcord, who's a white dude. Why not just have him play Stalker? I guess Stalker's kind of a name that maybe doesn't hold up.
Yeah, if you're a black dude named Stalker trying to hit on a white woman, there's a significant segment of the population that would not approve.
I think they did like Snake Eyes justice in those movies. They made him super cool ninja dude, you know. Like, there were some things
who that
were cool.
was underneath that mask.
Ray Park.
It was Ray Park, yeah. It was Darth Maul.
Ray Parker Jr. from he was the
Yes.
Ghostbusters.
He is not afraid of any
Wait,
ghost.
who's Ray Park?
Ray Park was Darth Maul in
Okay,
Phantom Menace.
you're right.
Yeah.
They should cast him and everything.
He's great.
Also Toad. He's also Toad.
He's Toad, yeah. Mm-hmm. No, he's a delight. Yeah. So there you go, guys. That's G.I. Joe, the end of the Mass Device series. A lot stronger than I remembered it from being a kid. I always avoided watching this back in the day, and I'd watch the other G.I. Joe because in my brain, this was the weak one that just didn't hold up. And watching it now, I don't know what the hell I was talking about. This has been great.
You were probably just really hung up on whether or not Duke and Scarlett were dating. 6-year-old Ray was like, Mom, I got some questions about this show, and she's like, "Oh, is it about how whether or not the military is a good organization or a bad organization because they're making it seem good, but also they've committed horrible atrocities in the past?" And you're like, "No, what's the relationship status between Scarlett and Duke?"
It is so undefined, Mom. It doesn't look healthy either, if I can be quite frank. And that's probably exactly what I sounded like when I was 6. That's what I sound like now. Who am I kidding? Well, thank you guys so much for listening there. Any other things you guys want to plug or anything like that? Can we take a brief moment and talk about how all of us independently are going to be on the Muppet Babies Skeeterial podcast?
Yeah, it's a podcast that examines why the only character that was a Muppet baby but not a Muppet adult is Skeeter, Scooter's twin sister. So what happened to Skeeter? And I have so many theories.
Yes.
I came to the table with like 20 theories. I think it was annoying.
Well, they did a Knowing Is Half the Podcast episode as guests, and they had you two on, and not me. Right?
Knowing is half the what?
Well, weren't you both on the show?
Oh, that was a very confusing sentence.
Yeah,
oh my God.
The grammar did
I think
not
the people
hold
at home
up.
were following the logic. But so to represent this show, they had the two of you, and then they had me and Brent Pope from the Raisin Brent podcast do a different episode. So independently, we will be on 2 different episodes of Skeeterial, which you guys at home, if you are not sick of us by now, check those out. Because I don't know about your guys' episode. I thought ours was fantastic. So I'll put it out there.
I did notice that you did not at all mention Knowing Is Half the Podcast.
Because I was there representing a different show. I assume you guys had it handled the week before.
When we did Skeeterial, I name checked Regenerates and Science Jerks.
I don't like
as well
either
as
of you guys.
podcast.
I have one podcast. It's the only thing I ever plug. Anytime I go on Screen Junkies, it's the only podcast I have. It's the only podcast I plug. You guys both have 80 podcasts. You need to be more selective. You don't make a podcast feel special by spreading your seed to all these other podcasts.
2 podcasts.
If a podcast comes up to me and kisses me, I'm going to give it my ring.
Thank you.
That's just how it works.
I just think it's like, do you want to have one relationship with one very special podcast, or do you want to be like a fuckboying around with all these podcasts?
Well, I just thought we were like saying like, hey, because me and Brent are here and you've heard us together, you might want to check out the show. I didn't realize we were doing all our closing statements. So if you listen to that episode of Skeeterial, I awkwardly never mentioned my Twitter handle. or anything else because I didn't realize I was done on the show at that point.
Yeah, I will say I did not. I didn't plug. Don't think I plugged my Twitter either.
So everybody else starts telling their Matt Manser and Eileen Mary O'Connell, who do the show, start plugging their Twitter things, the shows they're doing. I'm like, I didn't. We're done.
Go bye-bye.
Go bye-bye. And so you could hear how awkward it was to begin with. So I thought about it afterwards. Like,
you can also hear how awkward it is in the middle, in the beginning, and all the way through, basically.
It was. I found it to be a delightful experience. What a great show. So you guys should check that out.
It is a fun show. Yeah, Skeet Joe is a great show that records here. Very same place.
That's right. Here at was it the Fat Robot Studio?
Yep.
Not the Bad Robot Studio. That's a different crew.
That is, yeah.
Still confusing. Guys, where can we find everybody on social medias? Well, I'll tell you. Knowing Is Half the Podcast can be found at Facebook. I'm fucking this up, too. It's very awkward. Facebook.com/Knowing Is Half the Podcast. You can do our Patreon if you'd like to support the show and be part of the bonus episodes. Patreon.com/Knowing Is Half the Podcast on Twitter. At G.I.Joe Podcast is where it's at. Or you could go to @Prez Serpentor. He's still tweeting up a storm, guys. His phone might have been taken away for 48 hours because it stopped working. And he might have stopped tweeting in that time. But he's back, and he's back with a vengeance, I can only promise.
Oh, God. I think it's only going to be a matter of time before he gets impeached.
Oh, it sure feels like we're going at that path, doesn't it? You can find me individually on Twitter. I am at Almighty Ray.
I'm at 999 RPMs.
I'm at Gina Ippy.
And guys, come on back next week. We're going to probably, I assume, start up the first episode of the Weather Dominator miniseries, which is the second miniseries of G.I. Joe.
Didn't we already watch that?
No, we did Pyramid of Darkness.
I feel like we've mentioned the Weather Dominator before.
We've mentioned it, but this is where you start bringing in Zartan and the Dreadnoks and introduce a bunch more really fun characters, and it starts getting really not that this wasn't fun, but there's a very playful side of that miniseries as I remember it, but I also haven't seen it in a long time.
But wasn't there an episode where they manipulated the weather at some point? And made the polar ice caps melt?
Well, that was Haul Down the Heavens. That was when Destro melts the polar ice caps to flood the world. G.I. Joe had no idea what it was talking about, did it, guys? Good night, everybody.